What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have the next Lego set review. Today we have Lego set number 21326, Winnie-the-Pooh. This is a Lego idea set. Of course, the piece count is 1,605, and the recommended ages are 18 plus. So yeah, this is a really good set. Okay, this is honestly probably one of my favorite sets of 2022. And I know that's a big statement. There are a lot of sets that have come out this year, but one of the sets that I've collected, this is really good. There is a lot of stuff like the goat boat and a bunch of other stuff that I collected and did set reviews on, but this just looks cool. Now I know if you guys are watching this and you're Debbie Downers, and you say, oh, Winnie the Pooh's for kids, this is for kids and stuff. The box says 18 plus. I know it says 18 plus, and I have heard people, oh, my son was able to build this and stuff. So yeah, of course, this isn't really that hard of a set. For me, it was kind of hard, and the tree was kind of, there was a lot of repetitive building in this. But as a set, looking at it, this is really good. Of course, you have to kind of, if you want to display it and not have the house open, you kind of have to put it at the side because there is a house back there, which can open up and you can't see the interior, which is the interior is not really that good for this, if I'm being honest, but the figure selection is good. Rabbit, Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, and Eeyore all fit for this set. It looks really good. The tree itself looks awesome. It looks like the bonsai tree. Of course, that was on my the Chadwick Boseman thing that I made, which this is really good. This is a really cool. Of course, the figures is amazing. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at the figures first, starting off with Winnie the Pooh. So here is Winnie the Pooh, and this figure is just so heartwarming. It's super cool to get. Of course, the red balloon is, of course, not the new one that's come out in the CMF and stuff, just the old build, which is alright. It works for me. Now, of course, there are some issues with this figure. The molding is really good. The molding is probably perfect. However, the colors on the chest and stuff is kind of a peach, kind of, not yellow. Of course, he's a little bit too tall. I'd maybe give him mid-legs. But other than that, the molding is incredible. Look at this head. This head is so cool. And it just looks like him, the ears and stuff. And yeah, the dual molded arms. We all expected that they would use that. And yeah, of course the head is a molded piece. So there, yeah, there's the inside. And yeah, this is just a really cool figure. And he's really nice. And yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, there is Winnie the Pooh. Of course, also, I don't really want to show this in a random segment. You do also get the book in here as well, with Winnie the Pooh on the front of it, with the honey. Of course, it does say Ben A. Of course, it also does have the red balloon there too, which, yeah, this just goes, there really isn't a spot for this in the set. I just put it by the fireplace. But yeah, there is Winnie the Pooh. Now we're going to take a look at Piglet. So here's Piglet, and once again, this thing is really cool. Of course, also I forgot to mention with Winnie the Pooh, and also the Grinch, that there's also horror movies for this, so a lot of people are getting this so they can make the horror movie versions of these guys. So yeah, I think that's really cool. But once again, brand new molded head, just really cool. The printing is awesome. Of course, he gets a red scarf with this, of course, removing that, kind of looking at the torso printing. Really cool. Of course, he has little legs. He's a bit too tall, but once again, you can say the same thing for Rocket Raccoon and all the other guys that they make with little legs. That they're not accurate, but they're Legos. You're not really supposed to judge them that hard for it, and you can make them have emotions and stuff. So yeah, that is Piglet, and now we're gonna move on to Rabbit. So Rabbit is kind of one of the weirder characters. A lot of people don't like the eyes. I think the eyes are kind of cool. But of course, yeah, he does have a carrot, which is really cool. Of course, the new molded head is really nice. I'm just removing that as well so you guys can see it. Just really cool. This isn't a reuse of the Bugs Bunny. No. This is just a completely new piece, which is really nice. Of course, on the back, you also do have the tail printing, and it's kind of in a weird yellow. But yeah, I kind of wish that the eyes maybe were bigger and traced out instead of just white. I think they should have just traced the eyes out like this. But yeah, other than that, it's a really cool figure. So now we're going to take a look at Tigger. So here is Tigger, and once again, this might be, one of my favorite figures of 2022. You're gonna see a new compilation this year, of course, of all my favorite figures and all that stuff that I usually do around New Year's. But of course, he does have his little sack at the back, which is really nice. But the head, the head is super cool. Of course, one of the detailed figures in this. Of course, he has arm printing, leg printing, and of course, he doesn't have tail printing. But of course, he also does have back tail printing, but he doesn't have like the middle tail printed, which is all right. But I don't think he needs it. Yeah. It's really cool. Of course, now you can make the Cheeto guy, I guess. But yeah, Tigger just looks really cool. Of course, the face, once again, is molded. And I wish kind of they made a new tail, because he does have a spring in his tail. But I guess you could do this. So I would imagine if a kid got this and the new Tigger, probably the bottom right here would get worn off over time. But yeah, just the arm printing and leg printing. This is just a really cool figure. And yeah, he's just one of my favorites in this set. One of my favorite minifigures. I don't really kind of know my favorite, but I do know that Tigger is probably maybe number one. I think he's my favorite, and I think like Winnie-the-Pooh might be like maybe my second favorite as a figure. But as a character, that's the next character, which of course is going to be Eeyore. So here is Eeyore, and as we will see later in the instruction manual when we see the original set, he was not a molded piece, he was brick built, and once again, this is honestly one of my favorite figures. Again, for 2022, this guy is so cool. He is a new molded piece, and he just looks really cool. Of course, that is a bit unsettling. I kind of wish that they molded right here, not left a big hole right there. But just, yeah, I think that's kind of weird. That's only the weird part, but the tail is cool as well. It's just a really cool molded piece. He's just really awesome. So yeah, that is of course Eeyore, and now we're going to take a look at the 100-acre wood sign. So here is the 100-acre wood sign. Of course, you do have two stickers at the front, and one of the prints that is kind of reoccurring in this set is the honey. It's really cool. There's a lot in this, and it's really cool. So yeah, there it is. Of course, I kind of don't like the inclusion of this because it's just a random thing, but of course one of the prints is the log print at the top, which I did use on my Spider-Ham mallet actually, which is really cool. So yeah, that is the 100-acre wood sign. Now we're going to take a look at the actual set. So here is the bottom of the Pooh's house, I guess, but of course right down here, if we start way down here, of course we do have the log where you can put a minifigure. So we'll just use Pooh as like our test dummy throughout this whole thing, so you could put him right there, which is really cool. Of course, there's more prints of the log on the front and also the back right there. There's also another, if you remove this right here, there's so yeah, there's also a print right there. But if you remove it, also there is a honey as well right there. I'm not gonna really dive too deep into there, but of course you do also have the fire kind of right here. The book, I just put it here. I think it looks nice, and the mushrooms. And of course the bushes, which is probably my least favorite part. Very annoying building this because of course this was just really annoying. It's used on a minifigure posing piece, and it's just a clip in there. I'm not gonna pull it out because it's gonna be another 20 minutes before I put that back on there. But just putting the log back where that was, yeah, that can be removed really easily. Of course, you do have the front right here, which is kind of just a whip right here. Of course, you do have a printed piece which says Mr. Sanders, which is really nice right there. Of course, you do also have the door, which does go on the inside, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But yeah, just looking at the outside right here, of course, we do have some tree roots that do go upwards, which is really nice. Yeah, of course, looking at the outside of the roof as well, we do have this annoying thing right here. So of course we do have the extension of the furnace on the inside, but right here we do have some leaves and stuff, but this is the roof right here, and the roof was a pain to build. There's like three colors. There's like a tan, a red, and a reddish brown. Of course, looking at it right here, and in this like lighting situation, you can kind of mix them all together. So if you're colorblind and you try to build this, you're not really going to have a good time. Of course, you do have the back right here as well, which going down, you do have kind of the just the build and stuff, just some flowers. And of course it does open on the inside right here by some clips, but we'll do that in a sec. We'll go on the inside in a sec, but just looking at the outside, you do have some more flowers that was on this side as well. But yeah, also going on the other side, you do have a little kind of, I think, snail build. I don't really know what that is. More minifigure posing pieces right here, just kind of really annoying. But yeah, of course you do also have the outside right there. Of course, moving up into the tree, I guess we'll do the tree right now. One of the repetitive builds, of course, all these little trees are made on a ball joint, so you can move them all and pose them and do whatever you want with them. There are only 2 honeybees things in here. Of course, you do have one right here, which if we go into, of course, I already did show one of the play features in this. You do have a printed bee with the honey kind of bee piece, which I originally had in cotton candy. This is the first time getting it in the honey kind of color. Of course, you do have the bees on the carnage thing, so you're able to spin it around, which of course, if you spin too hard, you're going to knock it off. So of course, do not do that. It's not that fun. It's just on a stud connection, so yeah, just be careful about that. That'd be a really cool build right there, but it is kind of satisfying to do, which, yeah, that is not fun to do. So yeah, there you go. And of course, once again, the tree is actually made out of coral pieces, which is really nice. A new piece in my collection. It's all in green. Of course, up here, if you see up there, we do have another kind of spinning bee thing, which is very fun to do. But yeah, just a bunch of the same builds, which is just the leaves and stuff. Just build 6 times. You have to put them on here, and yeah, it's pretty annoying, but as soon as you do it, it's not really that bad. Of course, there's the very top. And yeah, that is kind of it for the outside of the build. Now we're going to take a look at the inside. So of course, going on the inside, all you got to do is just open the back now, and there you go. That is all the interior. So of course, as you guys saw, I did push open the door earlier in the video. So of course, you can close that. You do have a shiny mirror right here, which is really nice. So of course, you can kind of move that out of there, so you guys can kind of see it if you want to. So yeah, kind of looking at that right there. There you go. It's a mirror. You can see stuff, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, of course, putting that back now. Of course, if we go on the right side, left side over here, you do have a chair which you can fit a minifigure on, which is really nice. This is actually the first time I'm fitting a minifigure on here, which is really nice. Yeah, I can take that, and it is on a jumper, so it is going to jump off all the time. And yeah, just removing Pooh from that right now and putting that back. It's a pretty cool chair. Of course, you do have the furnace, which continues up in the top, of course, as you guys saw earlier right there, which is really cool. Of course, we'll get to the attic in a second. But yeah, of course, you have the bees in the back and the curtains as well. And then, of course, you do have the coffee thing over here, which is really nice. But of course, you do have, on this side, you do have an alarm clock and a bed, which you can put Pooh in, which kind of, I think, really doesn't fit in that well in here. There you go. That's kind of the best you're going to do. But of course, you do have this nice build, which does use some roller skate pieces, as you guys can see right there. And of course, a candle piece right here, which is also on a jumper, so you can move it if you want to. But of course, you do have the curtains, which go on the bed. Kind of lazy. That doesn't go on the other side. Yeah, there that is. And of course, in the attic, you do have a honey thing again. And of course, you do, on the other side, you have Pooh's sticks, which is really nice, and a golden heart right there. So yeah, that is kind of it for the interior. Of course, the inside is held by the Nexonite shield pieces in brown. And as you guys saw kind of on the outside, there are 2 clips which you can close the house. But yeah, that is kind of it for the interior. And close it, which is really nice. And yeah, that is kind of it for Pooh's house. And of course, it's a really cool build. And yeah, of course, I'm going to do the instruction manual and the box, and then we're going to wrap up this video. The instruction manual is pretty thick, as you guys can see here. Of course, you have this really nice artwork at the front of all the characters that were that I just reviewed in this set review. Then, of course, you have Winnie-the-Pooh at the top and the Lego, and really nice artwork at the side. Of course, if we start opening it, of course, going on the inside, of course, you can see Winnie-the-Pooh, the map right there, and Christopher Robin's right there and Winnie-the-Pooh. Of course, also, if you go on the inside, you can see all of Pooh's friends and stuff like that, and some recreations of some classic Winnie-the-Pooh stuff. Then also you can see more stuff about the characters that you guys can read. And the ideas, of course, you have the guy who made it, which is really cool. And of course, you have the original idea right here, which is really cool. Very different than what we actually got, but pretty similar, just more simpler. Then, of course, you have, more stuff about the designers and stuff like that. And then, yeah, then you have the beginnings. So, of course, you get all of the figures literally in bag 1 and 2, which is pretty crazy, but yeah, I was kind of done with the figures. And of course, the pages end all the way at the end. They end on page 154, which is pretty cool, and then you have feedback and stuff you can win. And then, of course, at the very end, you do have the ideas. And, of course, all the bricks that are in this, which there's a lot. And more cool artwork on the back, which is really cool. So, yeah, the instruction manual is cool. The actual box is massive. It's kind of as big as the Sonic box, I think. Of course, you have the 18 plus at the bottom right here. Of course, you do have all the Winnie-the-Pooh characters at the front and stuff. It's kind of weird because there's just an infinite thing of blackness over here, and you just have, like, Tigger jumping on nothing, which is really funny. Of course, if you do go to the top, there is kind of the Winnie-the-Pooh actual size, which is really cool. Flipping it around, of course, you can see the back, which is all the kind of play features and stuff. So, yeah, it's a box. So that is going to be it for this set review. Now, I'm kind of thinking about it now. I'm probably not going to do a set review on the Panda or Roadrunner because it's just Brickheads. I don't really do set reviews for Brickheads and stuff, but if you guys want to see what they do look like, here you go. They are really cool, and kind of my thoughts on them are they are cute and awesome. And maybe in the future you'll get a cameo from these guys, maybe in one of my future videos, maybe, who knows. But yeah, that is going to be it for today's set review. Now, my overall thing about this is that some people are going to get mad because it's too small, the inside's too small, it's kind of too small. But when you display it like this, just the figures, when you display it like this, just the figures, and maybe turn it to the side a little bit so you can see the house in the back, this is a really kind of, I'm going to say, this is a really beautiful set. It's super nice. It's very childhood. I like a lot of green and very nice sets. They look really cool and awesome. And on display, they look really awesome. Of course, the figure selection is perfect. You don't get everybody, though. And, of course, you don't get, like, the owl, the kangaroo, and all that stuff. You don't get all of them. Of course, Christopher Robin's is also not in here, which, of course, it wouldn't make sense because of the size and stuff like that. But, yeah, this is just a really cool set. The figures, amazing, and just everything is just perfect. And, yeah, you might see a lot of these guys pop up in the best figures of 2022. Who knows, because that video is still actually happening, and I gotta start coming up for it because it's actually this Sunday, which is really crazy. So yeah, anyway, that's gonna be it for today's set review. Of course, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, and bye.